بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. This is part of our ongoing series called Meet the Community, and alhamdulillah we are honored and blessed today to have one of my favorite students attend, and that is Ahmad Najmi. Many of you might know him. He was mashallah just recently married. So we'll go ahead and start the discussion with, like I said, one of my favorite students, Ahmed. First question is, Ahmed, what is it that you do?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for having me on, Farhan. I think it's a really good initiative that you have started for the MCNJ community. And I think, inshallah, it'll help grow our social media outreach and just our community as a whole. So what I do is that I work for the state of New Jersey. I'm a governmental employee for the state. I work at the DOT, just the Department of Transportation, and I work at their structural evaluation department. So basically my job is to make sure all of the bridges and tunnels and dams in New Jersey are standing up and they're not falling apart. New Jersey is way too overcrowded these days. So that's why we got to make sure that, everyone is safe on the roads. And that's basically what my job is.
So we can't call you every time I see a pothole?
I have nothing to do with potholes. The funny thing is, Farhan, my father-in-law at my wedding called me out on a pothole in front of his house. And I told him, this is my wedding and I have nothing to do with potholes. Please stop. But yeah, no, I have nothing to do with potholes.
But had he complained about a bridge, would you have been able to do something for him
Yeah.
at your wedding?
Yes, I would have issued a priority one, right then and there. And had whatever, even if it was a pothole on the bridge, I could have had that fixed.
MashaAllah. This is very good information.
Yes, but hey, if you ever, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, that stuff is. I always thought that stuff was handled by the Port Authority.
So the Port Authority does do that kind of stuff, but it mainly relates to the ports of New York and New Jersey, which are on like the northeast side of the state. But everything else, like all the dams that we have near the Delaware and the Hudson, or all the dams, like New Jersey actually has a lot of rivers compared to many other states.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of dams and we have a lot of bridges. So because of that, and a lot of times, the funny thing is you'll be driving over a bridge or a dam or something and you might not even notice it. So our job is to take care of all of those. And I believe there's about 6,000 in the state of New Jersey alone.
MashaAllah. I think I read somewhere, I might be wrong, that I think New Jersey has the highest number of rivers, not necessarily in volume, but like just number of rivers. It might be the highest.
Interesting. That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. We also have the highest population density, or one of the highest population densities. Okay. So our infrastructure, it just continues to crumble at a higher rate than we can repair it.
Okay.
So, and then no one likes being taxed more. So
yeah, I don't think we can be taxed more.
Well, no, so, but yeah, alhamdulillah, I like my job, alhamdulillah, and even with the quarantine going on, I still continue to work from home. So alhamdulillah, I feel very blessed to do that.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. May Allah continue to provide for you and your family. Ameen. So the second question is, how long have you been in the community, in the MCNJ community specifically?
I was introduced to the community when I was very young. I went to a version of the Maktab program, kind of. It was like Sunday school. I learned, Quran from Qari Saab. I did all those things. So I think if I remember correctly, I was part of the community from about 9 to 10 years ago. So since then, I've been trying to stay connected as much as I can.
MashaAllah. And what are different ways that you've contributed either in the past or that you're currently contributing to the community?
So as you can see from my attire, this is the most important thing to me. It's very much so a pillar in my life. And for those that can't see, this shirt says always reppin', and it has a logo at the bottom that has a Y and an M on it. So MCNJ is one of the communities, alhamdulillah, in New Jersey that has a YM chapter, and YM stands for Young Muslims. And as you guys can tell, that basically is a group within the MCNJ community of all the young Muslims, mainly from ages 15 to 25, mainly high schoolers and college students, and people that maybe don't, are homeschooled even, but are in that age range and are part of the MCNJ community. So I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've contributed to while being at MCNJ. Obviously, MCNJ is a very diverse community. We have a lot of different programs going on, Boy Scouts and Maktab and Sunday School, and they all have their different objectives and different purposes, different audiences. So the audience of YM at MCNJ was to address people that are in that high school to college age group, but maybe they've probably grown out of going to maktab or maybe they're starting to grow out of going to Sunday school, and maybe they haven't reached that point where they're regularly attending MCNJ programs simply because it's not maybe not fun enough, actively fun enough for them from their perspective. So it was to target those people and to make sure that they're involved in the community as well, and they see that they can make MCNJ a home for themselves while being in this age group and not feel left out. So that's one thing that I helped out with a lot. I was part of YM since I was almost I would say 16, and now I'm 24. So that's 8 years. So when YM was first started in about 2010 by someone named Maz Khan, who is very a lot of people know him at MCNJ. That's when I started going, and I have my ons and offs, and then it came to a point where I was very heavily involved in it. I became the coordinator for a little bit, and I helped as much as I could. And again, the goal was to make sure that everybody in the community felt like they had a home, especially from my perspective, the people that were of my age, they had a home they had a place in the community to be involved with, even after they grew out of the younger programs and weren't able to fit into the older programs. So that's probably the biggest thing I contributed with. And on the other hand, being that MCNJ was all the people that I knew went there, it was like my home masjid. I tried to volunteer as much as I could at different other programs, whether it was a block party or during Ramadan, just volunteering in general. In whatever way I could, I tried to help out. And that made me feel a lot closer to everybody there, and it made me definitely feel like a bigger part of the community.
MashaAllah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you contribute to the community. What are some things that you like doing in your free time, or what are some things that you enjoy?
So I enjoy a lot of things in my free time. Obviously, just spending time with my wife. I just got married. That's great.
MashaAllah.
So that's nice. We're stuck under quarantine right now, so we're getting to spend a lot of time together.
So is this a replacement for the honeymoon?
Yeah, it's honeymoon part 2. That's but we're actually at home this time, not in some other country. So that's nice. Like I said, just being that I was part of YM for so long and helped out with that at MCNJ, I have a lot of friends in that age group, even people that are 4 or 5 years younger than me that are currently in college or currently in high school. They're still very, very close friends of mine. So being that I was able to mentor them and be like their older brother in many ways through being at YM at MCNJ. So hanging out with them is another huge part of my life that I very much enjoy. And it's interesting, like when we talk about what do you enjoy, a lot of times the thing that we spend the most time doing is what we end up enjoying the most. Like for example, in high school, I used to like playing soccer a lot. And that was probably the thing I enjoyed the most. If I could do anything, I would play soccer all the time. But after I went through YM, simply just spending time with those people, even if we weren't doing any activity, became something that I really, really, really enjoyed. So alhamdulillah, that's that. And then lately, what I've been getting into is playing video games. I mean, I'm under quarantine. I have nothing else to do. So I FaceTime my parents half the time, and half the time I'm playing video games.
So is it Call of Duty or League?
It's actually not either. It's a different game called Rainbow Six Siege. It's a tactical shooter. So it revolves around, it's very less gun play based. It's more so strategy based, but it's still a first person shooter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting game. So I'm into that a lot.
Okay.
That's about it.
So, well, the last question that I have for you, or the second to last question, is since you've spent time at MCNJ, I would say maybe your high school years, your college years, and now that you've entered into the professional world, you've seen it from different vantage points, right? You've seen the masjid, how your transitions were.
Oh yeah.
How the masjid has helped you, or maybe it's hindered you in certain ways too, right? Because not everything is bed of roses.
Yeah.
The question I would like to ask you is, what are some things that you would like to see the masjid do, or what were some things that you felt were lacking through those individual stages?
So let me just walk. So you summarized a very, very important point, which was that alhamdulillah, I've gotten to see this community go from my perspective when I was very young and getting lessons from Qari Sahib, reading Quran with him, to being to high school and college, which is like, the middle of it, where you're not old enough yet, but you're also not young.
Yeah.
So you're stuck in the middle. And then also now, alhamdulillah, I like I said, I am working full time at the DOT, and I am less oriented towards going to YM even now, because I'm slowly phasing out of it. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm phasing out of the community. It's just that one program in the community. But what I mean to say out of that is
your position's changed. That's it.
Right. Exactly. What I mean to say out of that is, alhamdulillah, I've had a very huge like mental learning process through all of that. Like, for example, when I was younger and I would go to Ramadan in the masjid, it was a completely different Ramadan than it is now, or even when I was in high school. Or for example, when my parents took me to the masjid when I was younger, it was definitely like a community hub. It was definitely like, okay, you go here, you go read your Quran, and then your parents bring you home. And then when I was in the middle of it, when I became into YM, it wasn't a place that my parents took me to, but it was a place that I started slowly going to on my own. Whether it was for meetings or whether it was for like, YM gatherings or just helping out volunteer with random events, whatever it may be. Many times, like I would say more than 75% of the time, I would be at the masjid and neither one of my parents would be there. I would just go at, whenever time, early in the morning, afternoon, the nighttime, sometimes spending a night over there, and I would go there. So it started to change my mentality on how I see the community and what purposes I see in the community. When I was younger, I would have never imagined like what could be implemented like with the programs and like what could be done with our community other than just reading Quran and coming back, or going there for Jummah and coming back. Or even during Ramadan, we would go there for iftar many times, but I didn't see like the bigger picture of it, like bringing the community together, having a source of religious references that we can, someone that we can go to for that, these kind of things. And now, alhamdulillah, having gone through that, obviously I'm still very, very much learning. And the more you are part of community, the more you understand what that community is capable of and what it needs and what it doesn't need. But now I'm at a point where every time I walk into MCNJ, I feel like it's my home. Like I feel like it's as if I'm walking to my own house. I feel like, alhamdulillah, I just moved into this apartment about 3 months ago, and I've been living here, daily. But I feel like MCNJ, when I walk there, is more comfortable when I walk to this apartment. This still feels new to me than MCNJ, even though I go to MCNJ much less than I come home every day. So that's something to say. All of the people at MCNJ, like, they know me, I know them for the most part. Even if it's someone that I haven't seen in a long time, or even if it's someone that I've never seen, but they're simply at MCNJ, I feel so much more comfortable just going up and approaching them than when I was younger. And I don't think that was because I didn't know how to say hello. I think I was a very like social person even then, but it's just simply the fact that MCNJ has become my home. So anything associated with it, I'm more comfortable with. Now, coming to the part that you were talking about as to, there are definitely some things that I saw with our community that could have been bettered, or some things that were already set up that were great. I'll start off with the things that are great. I think the things that are great are that we have people in our community that are very, very dedicated to doing the work that needs to be done. And whether it's things as small as like helping clean up the masjid, or big things like planning big events, fundraising, Ramadan time, whatever it may be, people like you, even, alhamdulillah, we have such great people that are dedicated to doing their jobs, and they could have quit at any time. I've seen the community go through its ups and downs, go through times where there's been many people there, go through times where there's been less people there. The community, some people, ended up going to Al-Wali after a while, which has nothing wrong to do with it. But it's simply the size of our population has been going up and down many times. Our programs have been, started and canceled, and many things over and over. But the people that were doing the work, that were volunteering, especially out of their own will, even if they were paid volunteers, whatever it may be, it's still something to say that, alhamdulillah, we're not one of those communities that starts up and fails. And I'm saying that as someone that I've done a lot of like traveling with YM, because we've had conferences throughout the United States. And when I went to places like Kentucky, for example, and I saw the masjids there would be huge masjids, and the initiation would be great, but the community wouldn't last because the people doing the work would, after a while, they wouldn't continue doing that work, and the community would stop having new members, or continuing to have the same members, and it would shrink. So alhamdulillah, I'm really happy to see that with our community. We have really good people doing a lot of really good work with a great intention, alhamdulillah. Another thing that's really good about our community is that we have a lot of different things going on. If anybody here is getting the MCNJ emails, if you just, well, not recently because of the quarantine, but before that period started, if you see all of the things that we have going on at our masjid, alhamdulillah, there's a lot going on. And there's something going on for every single type of person, for every age group, whoever you may be, a new person or someone that's been there for a long time, anybody can get involved, and there's something there to do for you. You'll definitely feel welcome. Even someone in my age group, where, like I said, in many other Islamic organizations and in many other masjids that I've seen throughout the USA, that age group is missing, heavily missing, meaning like in many of the programs, you don't even see a single person below the age of 30, unless they're 15 or younger. So I'm really glad that we have that variety of programs, and we have a variety of initiatives, and we continue to develop them. Coming to the part of what I think could be done better, I think there's a couple of things, or many things, that could be done better. Some of them are very situational. Like, I'll give you a small example. Like, I think, for example, during like Ramadan, when we do our fundraising, I think our fundraising could be done a little bit better. I have my own ideas as to how that could be done, and like, we could talk about that. And there are little things here and there overall that could be done better. But overall, I think a couple of big things that I think need to be done better if we truly want to sustain our community and keep it going for generations to come, is that I think we need to have more women involved in our community. And I think that the issue is that they don't want to be involved, to be honest with you. I think that maybe they like the program that's happening, they like the initiative, and they're like, yeah, I support this. But when that program starts, they're just not as much interested, because they see what they're getting themselves into. And what I mean to say by that is, for example, just our space alone, like the physical space, is not very welcoming to women, in my opinion. Obviously, we have our little sections for women. We have the house.
What are you talking about, Akhi? Women are supposed to pray in the closet. You don't know that?
Oh yes, of course, absolutely. Our closets are more than big enough for that. They'll pray right next to the supplies. But and I don't
so that they can clean up right after. You don't.
Oh yes, that's right. They pray in the kitchen and the closet only. There's two places to be. No, astaghfirullah. This is the problem, because the issue is that the majority of successful communities that I've seen throughout New Jersey, especially, and the tri-state area, and the rest of the American Muslim population, are the ones where women are heavily involved in the programs, where there's a specific place for a woman, like physical place.
100%.
Not just saying that, oh, this is a temporary place, we'll put up a curtain and then we'll open the curtain, close the curtain. During Jummah, and no women are allowed, or they might be allowed in the house, for example. But that's not welcoming at all. And I've spoken to so many people, family members, relatives, and just random people that have gone there for the first time. They couldn't even find the entrance. They couldn't find the woman's entrance. Like, it was such a difficult time of simply going into the building, that they're like, why would I come here next time, when if I go to a different masjid that's just 10-15 minutes away, there's a whole separate door entrance made for me. I think that's something really big to consider.
It's not in an alley.
I'm sorry?
It's not in a back alley.
Yeah, it's not in a back alley, exactly, yes. And the fact of the matter is, Imam Farhan, that women, they are the center of our households. Men, majority of the times, they go to work. They, especially in our community, they come home. They have time to go to go pray Isha or Maghrib after work. But women are men at home the whole day. If they can bring their kids to Dhuhr, for example, and we could have daytime programs, which I know we do after school programs. But what I mean to say is if they have a place where it's just for women and it's not temporary, I think that would be really great. Even going as far as Jummah, for example, I think if we had a permanent place that was welcoming for women to pray Jummah in, that would make a huge difference in our community. I've seen that in masjids that have places for women to pray Jummah specifically, not just attend programs, because you can have any place to attend programs, but Jummah specifically, and they listen to the khutbah, they attend they pray in congregation with everyone else. It has such a big impact on their family that they end up bringing their kids to Jummah. When their kids come to Jummah, I'm sure we can all, that's all you need. Once the kids start coming to the masjid, they feel like it's their home, then they're going to continue coming for the rest of their lives. Then you're all set.
Absolutely.
If you make it their home, you're all set. But if the men go to work and they come home late at night and they try to take their kids to Maghrib or Isha, which is definitely possible, I just think it's less efficient and less effective, being that they're not the centers of their household many times. So that's just my big picture that I would want to see at MCNJ. Now, whether practically that's possible, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been involved in that side of the planning and whatever other administrative talks go into that. But I think it needs to be prioritized as soon as possible, because I've seen people be turned away from our community, even men, because their wives can't find a place to pray.
I'm with that.
Simply put. Even myself, and like I said in the beginning, I was talking about how much of a home MCNJ is to me. Even myself, because my wife, like right now we're under quarantine. When we, for example, when we have off on Fridays, which many times we do, because I work at a state job, so we have a lot of different holidays, and she works at NYU, so it's a school, so they have a lot of holidays too. A lot of times when we have off on Fridays and we want to go pray, we simply can't come to MCNJ sometimes because we don't know where she's going to pray Jummah. You know what I mean? And as much as it's a home to me, but to her, it's like, I want to make it a home, but I don't know where to pray.
So I've done a number of these interviews, and there is a very strong common theme that I've seen throughout them, which is that I love the brothers are sincere, the brothers this, the brothers that, right? And even when you were talking about YM, it's YM what? Brothers.
YM brothers,
right?
And there used to be a YM Sisters chapter here too, but
I'm not dismissing any of them. Don't get me wrong.
I know what you mean.
I'm just saying, like, there is a very strong current and a very strong theme that brothers. Tayyib, I mean, all those brothers, they're going to get to a point just like you did where you got married. Where's your wife going to go? What is she going to do? And the thing is, can anything be done? Yeah, absolutely. It's just the vision has to be important enough for the community to work toward that.
And in my opinion, even if that vision means that we have to change our location slightly, 2, 3, 5, 10, 5 minutes away at the most, 10 minutes even. It's better to start again with a new building. Our community will follow. I'm telling you, the people that we have, mashallah, like they're so hardworking. And the programs that we have are very, very good and great. The ideas, the intent behind them are great. And even if we lose some people and we gain new people in a different area, the thing is that our work will be more fruitful. Right now, so many people at MCNJ are putting in so much time and effort into trying to help out their community and being that source of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy to be put upon our community. But their work is going unfruitful because we've kind of reached the ceiling, in my opinion. In some ways. That isn't to say we can't better ourselves in other ways. There definitely are. We can always continue to strive better, and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has control over what happens. Only He controls who comes and who doesn't, and how, even if any of our effort is accepted. But I think that's something to consider.
I definitely agree. And that's something that we should spend a little bit more time, and I think it deserves a separate discussion in and of itself. Was there anything else? Was there any other suggestions that you wanted to add, or was that the only one?
So there isn't any other suggestions that I wanted to add. I think if just that one thing is implemented, it'll make a wave of other changes that'll be for the beneficial. One thing I just wanted to add into this little talk that we're having is simply like my story. I think that when you think of the like community of MCNJ, you know, the people that are at MCNJ, we don't see the, like, for example, if someone entered MCNJ one day and they walked out, they wouldn't know everything about, you know, like what I've been through and how I've seen the community grow and any of that. But if someone's watching this video, I just want them to understand that this community really has grown. I've made it my home. All the people there are very, very loving. They're very welcoming people. Imam Farhan is a great imam. He's very casual to talk to, and also very formal and private if need be. He can give an amazing khutbah, but then 2 minutes later sit down with you and give you really good, great life advice on a personal level. All the volunteers are great. So if anybody's watching this and you're my age, for example, just give it a try. If you're in the Ford Woodbridge area, you live 5 minutes away, just come by, look up what YM is, and get yourself involved in the MCNJ community through that, or whatever other programs you may see. But I really hope that like these kind of video interviews help people learn about our community and get an idea of what it's like and how great it is.
Jazakallah khair, Ahmed, and this is the last question, I promise. Who would you like me to interview next?
Interview next?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're gonna agree to this or not. Do you still want me to suggest it?
Go ahead.
Okay. I want you to interview, do you know someone named Zakaria Al-Walili?
Yes.
I want you to interview his mom.
His mom? Sure. Well, I don't, what, are you talking about Ni'ma?
Is she
No.
Masjid a-lot?
No, she, no, okay.
Naimanti. I think her name is Naimanti.
Yeah, Ni'ma. So
Yeah.
Aren't they in Turkey?
They are.
Yeah, I don't know how, normally I wouldn't mind. Please don't get me wrong. I just don't know how I can even arrange that.
Yeah. If not her, then some other person similar like that, an older person, in my opinion, that is a woman that has volunteered a lot. I think you're going to get a new perspective from her as to how, or someone like her, seeing the community grow and what she enjoys about the community and what she thinks could be a little bit better.
All right, I'll have to think about that one.
Okay.
All right. I'll really have to sit down. I'll have to think about it. But you know,
that's why I said you might not like it.
No, I have no problem with that. I think it's a great idea. I'm just trying to figure out who I would get. Okay.
Maybe I'll give you a name after or something.
Oh, that's fine. Or you give me a list of names. That's not a big deal. Or you can call them out right now, so that way I can refer to the video.
I can't think of any right now, but if I do, I'll let you know.
Okay, khalas, inshallah. All right, jazakallah khair, akhi, for your time.
Also, I just want to let you know, jazakallah khair for continuing, your work. I know that we're all under quarantine, and you are not an essential worker. You're not a doctor or, in the food supply industry or anything like that. But it means a lot to me that you're still continuing to give the MCNJ community a voice and continuing the work that our community is trying to achieve.
Jazakallah khair, akhi. May Allah bless you. I always appreciate our conversations and I appreciate our time. And with that, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. So please remember to like, subscribe, and to donate. The donation link will be below, and we will try to find a sister to interview for next time, inshallah, once Ahmed sends me a name. Jazakallah khair. I will see you all in the next interview, inshallah.